Casseroles are a great way to get your weeknight dinners on the table for you and your family quickly and easily. They're super comforting, they're easy to put together. You can make enough to have leftovers, meal prep for the week, or have half now and freeze half for later. But have you ever looked at a casserole recipe and thought, man, that looks pretty good, but today on Southern Keto, I'm going to show you my ultimate casserole blueprint. The possibilities that you can make with this blueprint are endless. It's just up to your imagination. I'm going to show you one of my absolute favorites, and then you can take that and customize it however you like. So today, let's get into casseroles without the buts. Hang on, that doesn't sound right. Anyway, here's my casserole blueprint. Stick around. The first step in the casserole blueprint is to preheat your oven to 350 degrees. That's the optimal temperature for any casserole you want to make. We're going to be making a Philly cheesesteak casserole, so we're going to use 2 bell peppers and an onion. But you can substitute whatever non-starchy vegetables that you like. You could use broccoli or cauliflower in place of the bell peppers, or you could even use asparagus if you wanted to. And since we're making a Philly cheesesteak casserole, we're going to use long strips of bell pepper. You can cut your veggies up to whatever size you like, but the bigger the better for staying together in a casserole. Once you get about this amount of non-starchy vegetable together, you're good to go. You can even add a little more if you wanted to. Next, we're going to use a large onion, and I would recommend using onion in most everything unless you can't have onions. Just gives it a really nice flavor. And over the course of this whole casserole, not very much carbs either. And again, just cut them up to whatever size that you want. For Philly cheesesteak, the strips are really nice, and it's really nice in a lot of other casseroles as well. For this casserole, we're going to add in 8 ounces of mushrooms as well. Now, mushrooms is a great superfood that you may not know about, but you could substitute in some more meat or even another non-starchy vegetable. But if you like mushrooms, they're a great source of B vitamins, antioxidants, and selenium, which helps with thyroid regulation. And mushrooms contain a really powerful antioxidant called glutathione, which helps to neutralize toxins and heavy metals in your body and prevents them from accumulating in your liver. So step 2 of the keto casserole blueprint is to add about that much vegetable. So now for the third step, the next thing you want to do is just add some extra virgin olive oil or your fat of choice to a large skillet, because we're going to cook our meat. You're going to want to use 2 to 3 pounds of meat, and since this is a Philly cheesesteak casserole, we're going to use some Philly cheesesteaks. And other than the fact that they're super delicious, they're just so easy to cook, and it makes it so fast to prepare. Now cook the meat to however done you would like it, but I'd suggest undercooking it just a little, since this is going in the oven at the end where it's going to cook just a little bit more. And once you have some of it cooked, it's good to take it out of the pan and transfer it into Old Yeller, because it's going to taste better if you do. Once your meat is cooked down, add in 1 cup of beef bone broth, chicken bone broth, or whatever kind of liquid that you like to add some flavor. Then we'll add in about a tablespoon of garlic just to give it a little extra flavor. You can leave that out if you don't use garlic, or just use another seasoning instead. And then add in about a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce or liquid aminos or some other sort of liquid seasoning for whatever flavor profile you're trying to create. And then we'll start to cook down the onion in that just to get a great flavor. If you're doing an Italian casserole, for example, maybe you want to add in some dry red wine in there instead of the Worcestershire. And just cook the onions or whatever vegetable you decided to use down until you can tell that the flavors are all through it and they're getting nice and soft, and then add in your bell pepper or whatever other vegetable that you want to use. For step 5, we'll add in half a block of cream cheese. This is essential to get a nice creamy consistency throughout your casserole. You know, unless you like a dry casserole. Once the cream cheese is melted down, just season it with salt and pepper or any kind of herbs and spices that you would like to create your flavor profile. Remember, the sky is the limit on this. But for this Philly cheesesteak casserole, the only other flavor we want is salt and pepper. Make sure you mix everything up, get all those flavors well combined and throughout your mixture, and then remove all those cooked vegetables to a bowl and just leave all the liquid right in the pan, because we're going to cook the mushrooms next, and the mushrooms are going to take on whatever flavor you have in that sauce. Mushrooms are like the little sponges of the vegetable world. They take on whatever flavor you want to give them. If you like keto comfort food recipes, make sure you give me a thumbs up on this video and let me and YouTube know that you'd like to see more videos just like this. Now step 6 is where it starts to get fun. Just spray down a casserole dish with some avocado oil, and we're going to start building this thing. We're going to start with one layer of your cooked vegetables. Now we left the mushrooms separate because we're only doing that on half of this casserole because one of us doesn't like the mushrooms. And then go right on top of that with a layer of the meat. Then spread it all out real nice, and we're ready to go on with a layer of the mushrooms. Then for the 6th step, we're going to layer the whole thing with cheese. We're using some pre-sliced provolone for this recipe, but use whatever kind of cheese you want that's going to fit the flavor profile that you're looking for. If you're doing Italian, you may want to use some mozzarella cheese. And then top that with another layer of your vegetables. Then add another layer of your meat. Top that with another layer of cheese. Now you cannot tell me you're not going to get enough fat in this casserole. Then go in with another layer of your vegetables. Spread it with another layer of meat, and then you can either top it with some more sliced cheese, or what I like to do is top it with my Cheese Whiz. Now I'll leave the link to that up top and down in the description so you can make it if you want to. If not, you could take some cream cheese, maybe mix in some marinara sauce if you're doing an Italian version, mix in some salsa if you're doing a Mexican version. Remember, the sky's the limit. Just spread it all over the top. We got some layers now. This is going to make an absolutely fantastic casserole. And then throw it in your oven for 15 minutes and you are all done. Depending on what kind of casserole you're making, you may want to go a little bit longer than that, but this is perfect for this. It's bubbling, it's ooey gooey, and basically all we're doing is melting down all those cheeses and sauces just to get an absolutely delicious casserole. And then step 6 or step 7, whatever you want to call it, is the best part. You're going to serve it up and eat it. I mean, look at that cheese pool. This thing is going to be absolutely delicious. This is the blueprint for the perfect casserole. I think you're absolutely going to love it, whatever kind of casserole you decide to make. If you think that casserole recipe is going to work out great for you, you're probably a big fan of keto comfort foods. And if you want another keto comfort food recipe that you're absolutely going to love, I got you. Make sure you watch this video right here.